All right, so this is 3.2.9 rating. They have given you a rater class that represents a rating system for a company, and the company is rated on a scale of 1 to 5, but it also can include like 0.5, so that's going to be a double value. They also have a toString method created in that rater class that changes based on how well the company is. So suppose we have a company called Tina's Tires. And if Tina's Tires has a rating of less than 2, the toString method is going to return this string right here, not recommended company, and then the name of the company, Tina's Tires. And then if the rating is over 3.5, then the toString is going to return gold star company and then the company's name, Tina's Tires. And then finally, otherwise, it's going to return well-rated company and then Tina's Tires. Okay, so we're going to have to implement that toString method. So we're going to have to be writing those conditionals, those if statements. All right. So remember, once a return statement is executed, the rest of the method is skipped. You like basically exit out of that method. So if you return a string in an if statement, the remaining if statements aren't going to be reached. They're not going to be tested. And then we'll talk about the other method that we have to implement, the set rating, in just a bit. So let's focus on that toString method. All right, here's our tester class that's going to test out whether or not we do stuff correctly. We're going to jump over to this rater class right here. We can see first that we have these instance variables, these properties of a rater. One of them is a string which represents the name of the company called name. And the other thing is a double called rating that will represent the rating of the company. Down here we have our constructor. We've got our setter that we will implement later on. Here's our getter that retrieves or returns the rating value. And then we have to worry about writing the toString method. Okay, so again, we have to remind ourselves that if we return something, we are exiting the method. That means that we're not going to be looking at any of the other code in the toString method. All right, so we have to implement this guy, and we need to know our conditions for that. So I'm going to open up our assignment. So I'm going to copy these lines here and put them as a comment in my code so I can remember what I'm trying to do here. So let's go ahead and paste that in. So if the rating, if the rating is less than 2, we need to return not recommended and then the name of the company. The next if statement is if it's over 3.3, something's going to happen, and then another if statement for this. All right, so let's take this line by line. Here's the first if statement we need to do. And I'm just going to put that underneath their comments here. Okay, so our first one is checking to see if the rating is less than 2. Okay, so I know I need an if statement for that. So what's my condition? I need to check to see if the rating is less than 2. So I want to check to see, well, what variable do I have that I can check for the rating? And if I scroll up here, I see that I have a variable called rating. So I'm going to reference that. So I'm just going to check to see if rating is what? Finish the Boolean expression for me. I want to check to see if it's less than 2. Yep, so I'm going to put rating less than 2. So if that is true, I want to return this string here. So I want to say return not recommended, recommended company, but I don't want to just put in Tina's Tires because that's the name of that example. That's the name of the example company. I want to return the correct company name for whatever company I'm working with. So for this, I want to, instead of hard coding Tina's Tires here, I want to concatenate, I want to add on the name of the company, which is represented by this variable up here, this string called name. So I'm going to go ahead and concatenate name to that. Okay, so that takes care of that first condition. For our second condition, which is in this comment here, let's go ahead and paste that down there. We want to check to see if the rating is over 3.5. Okay, so since this is section 3.2 and we haven't talked about something that some of you may have heard of already, it's the else clause and the if else. Each of these conditions are going to just be if statements, okay? So we're going to write another if statement. And this time, what is our Boolean expression going to look like? What are we checking? So how do we convert this to Java code? Rating is over 3.5. Yeah, so greater than 3.5, right? So we want to put the name of the variable, rating, and then greater than 3.5. Okay, so if that is true, then we're going to return a different message. We're going to return gold star company. And then again, instead of hard coding the company's name, we're going to concatenate it using the variable name. Okay. And then it says otherwise, let's see, where did it go? Where did I put it? Blah, blah, blah. Here we go. Otherwise, the toString would return well-rated company Tina's Tires. Now, some of you may, like I said, know about the else clause already. And so your mind might go there. I know my mind went there. But remember this little statement here. Once a return statement is executed, the program leaves the method. Therefore, if this statement was true, but the rating was less than 2, then we return this, and guess what? We're not looking at any more of the code. Same thing for this next one. If rating was greater than 3.5, then we would return the string and we would skip everything else in the method. Therefore, because of this fact, I could simply just say return, what was the message? Not recommended company. No, where is it? Oh, this one right here, well-rated company. Well-rated company, and then the company's name. And the reason why this works is if we've reached this line, it means that neither of these two Boolean expressions were true. Because if these were true, we would have already exited out of the method because of these return statements here. But if we've reached this line, that means that we are actually in that otherwise condition because neither of these things were true. So let's go ahead and test that out now. So we're going to be running this tester class right here. So you can see that this one called juniors has a rating of 2. So that means when we go ahead and print that out, we should see well-rated company, right? Because 2 is not less than 2 and it is not greater than 3.5. So we expect to see this message right here. So that's the middle rating. So well-rated company. Then if we've got to implement this set rating for this to work though. So if we set the rating now to 4.5, this will be the high rating. And so we will see gold star, right? Because it's greater than 3.5, so we should see the gold star rating. So that's going to be this. And then setting the rating too high is going to result in something, we'll see. And then the low rating is going to be that not recommended right here. Okay, just putting this as a note so we know what to expect when we do run this. But before we do that, we do have to implement the set rating method. So let's go back to our rater class. And we also have to set a limit our limit, our upper limit for a rating is no more than 5. Okay, so if someone tries to set our rating value greater than 5, we need to control for that. So let's see what they want us to do. Okay, so let's see here. There we go. The other method you need to fill in is set rating. The rating should only be changed if the new rating is 5 or less. Okay, so that means that we need to basically say something like this: rating is going to get the new rating, but that's only going to happen if our new rating is 5 or less. So we need to put this inside of an if statement. Okay, so let's start that if statement. If, how do we check to see if our new rating is 5 or less? What would I write inside of here? Almost. So we don't want to check to see if the rating is less than or equal to 5. We want to check to see if this new rating being passed in is less than or equal to 5. Because if that new rating is greater than 5, then we don't want to do this. We don't want to set the rating to the new rating. Okay, so we're going to check to see if this new rating is less than or equal to 5. If that's true, we're going to go ahead and set our rating to that new rating. Otherwise, we're not going to do it, so we're not going to put anything after this. So this will change the rating as long as what we're trying to change it to is within the limits of 5. All right, so that's all you have to do for the setter. So now we can actually test this guy out. All right, so let's go to run code, run. Okay, so we can see that my comments should be matching what we see here. So for this first one, it should print out well rated, since the current rating is 2, which is not less than 2, but it's not greater than 3.5. So we got well rated. The next one should say Gold Star Company, and that's what we see here, because it is greater than 3.5. And then the next one, current rating 4.5. Right, so this one, it does not change the value to 100 because that is bigger than 5. And so when we try to print out the rating again, it's going to be the same as it was before because it did not change. So it's going to go ahead and just keep it as 4.5 and then print out that it is a Gold Star Company. And then finally, when we try to assign it a low rating of 1, we get the message that it is not a recommended company.